people call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think, you will appreciate that, especially being around Prodigy. Now, what was that like, since we was talking about people thinking you were a Queens rapper, what was that relationship like, and how was those conversations? Because I know he was an ill thinker, and judging by the way you converse and spit your bars, I know you were ill thinker too. So what would be the things that y'all would converse about intellectually, or possibly debate about, or disagree on?
It wasn't really a debate or disagreement. It was just like we was in a real learning phase and learning stage. So, before anybody really cared about the conspiracy theorist thing, yeah, we used to be on that, like breaking down the symbolisms of what certain things mean, like on the flag. I think the New York State flag is one of them flags that got, it's a man stepping on a king chest, and we was trying to figure out what that mean and all these words mean. So we did that a lot.
Yeah, did a lot of studying together.
Yeah, just looking up certain things like, yo, this shit look crazy. Look at this. What do you think this symbol mean? And
What
people
was one of
question.
those that like really blew your mind? Like when you did your research and you found out the definition and stuff like that, what was a topic or a symbol that really blew your mind when you learned the
I
truth?
mean, certain things like the Washington Monument and how Washington, basically, it's like a the Star of David, but they changed a lot of things. They changed the meaning of it for them. And the owl, if you can, you can see the owl, but they got black people to build it, and the symbolism and the whole thing of DC, and so many things that you can see that's like pretty obvious once you wake up to it.
Yeah, that's a fact. Since we talking about the conspiracy theories, and I hear you always say how he used to come to your house to hide out when he was tired and different things like that. And then reading his book, he will always talk about shadows appearing, him being confronted by aliens, different things like that. And, looking at his later interviews before his untimely demise, he was speaking more about the truth. And even his last album after his death was, the evolution guy and all of that. Do you feel like, and then he also talks about hip hop police, him being targeted in that manner. Now, it's one thing to run away from the noise of everybody's opinions and different things like that, but do you think partly was him running from those certain shadows, or him feeling like,
Nah, nah, not at all. Like sometimes it used to be a lot, and sometimes he just needed to escape. Like he would just sleep all day. Like he'd come to the crib, chill out, and would pass out, and he would just sleep. I'd go outside. I'd be outside crib. My mom's here. Everything would be He would be knocked out. Then he would just go to the store, buy underwear and shit, take a shower, pass out again. I'm talking about like he used to be tired. And he don't answer his phone. Labels used to call my crib. Yo, you seen P? No. Like he was like really tired, tired. He wouldn't hang. He wouldn't hang. Like sometimes, I mean, sometimes he came over here for a summer and he hung out. But when he was tired and he needed a break, nobody knew where he was. He would be here, sleep. And I'm talking about at least like the longest, maybe like a week and a half. The shortest, maybe about 5, 6 days. But he used to I'm talking about knocked out. Like get up, eat, chill. I'd be like, yo, I'm going outside, and he would pass out again, like knock out. So it was like pretty much like rejuvenate himself, pretty much. And that's why I was seeing like, damn, my dude is tired. Like he's tired.
now, I heard you mention when people were talking or asking you questions about his mural, you felt like maybe he shouldn't have said certain things. Do you feel like he was a little bit too loose in his book, or too loose in his perspective with other people in his life especially in the industry at that time?
I mean, I could just say I would have never made a book like that, but I do understand where he's coming from, why he made that book. Because he know, like, even when he got a deal, you know, I learned later on is when they asked him, is like, why do you want a deal? He was like, yeah, I just want to make music and do everything before I die because of his sickle cell trait. So a lot of things he, you know, his ideas, he just want to get his ideas out. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew how possibly the sickle cell trait will, you know, probably knock him down.
Yeah, that's a fact. Now, going back to the conspiracy, because I have my own, feelings about his untimely demise. Do you feel like it was eggs or whatever it is that they were
Everybody
saying in
asked
the
him
news?
that. That was just, it just tells the last thing he ate. They didn't choke it. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes when you sleep on your back, if you vomit, there's no way for the vomit to come out, so it'll choke. So I really have no thoughts on that.
Oh, because only reason why I asked, because there was a lot of conspiracy things. He did the interview. Everybody knew he was always a revolutionary type of thinker throughout his career. He always had something to that effect in his bars at times outside of the hood tales. And then, when you see how he was maturing, and I'm glad I was covering that situation. I was able to be at the Blue Note Jazz Club when he had the residency. Shout out to Chinky QB and Big Twins. And I got to spend my birthday, and we were just covering his whole thing for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then he passes away. And I just started doing this at that time. And it was just like mind blowing how everything went down, especially me being such a fan and always seeing him in my life at some point, because me and Chinky, we're family, so I always had that kind of thing going on, and it was just like puzzling. Where were you when you found out he was no longer here with us?
I forgot what I was doing. I just remember I got a text from Twin, and he texted me, and he was just like, "Yo, hit me back." He texted again and was like, "Yo, hit me back." Then the third one, he was like, "Yo, hit me back. It's bad." And when I called him, he was like, "Yo, P gone." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yo, P is gone." And it was just like, word. He was like, "Yeah." It was like, I just spoke to him like the day before. Like he was just, feeling good again from the sickle cell thing. And he
Yeah,
passed.
I saw you broke down, and it was shocking to me because it felt like he was getting his second win again. He had the
Yeah,
residency.
he was eating a lot better. He was doing a lot of things better.
Yeah, he had the residency at the Blue Note that spring.
Mm-hmm.
He did Summer Jam, I think, and then he was in Las Vegas. Yeah, so it was like a lot going on, and it was so good to see, because I'm like, yeah, he's doing it, like, and if it to end like that, I think that was so trash. I think that was so fucking trash. That's why I could believe a conspiracy theory, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're getting your second win, you're in front of the public eye now, and you actually speaking out, against a lot
Mm-hmm.
of different things that he studied throughout his years. But he's not just doing it as a street dude no more. You saw the elevation in his maturity and his mindset for him to speak like that, and people actually take him seriously, on top of the fact that he already have such a huge fan base. And one thing, a lot of these entities don't like is when you're able to change the mind of the people. They'll try to silence you so bad. And the way, he left this world, it felt like that. It felt like that was the reason. I'm still kind of disappointed about that whole shit. And everything that we've been going through these past 3 years, he would have been a perfect figure to be speaking up loud. And I would love to hear what he would have had to say about what's been happening. Well, how do you feel about that?
About what? About
His stance you know, with the things that's happening now, the wars, the, you know, pandemics, the this, the that, like it seems like we're constantly being bombarded with fuckery, basically. How do
You know,
you
it's
feel
always
you would
been
have stood on this?
there. This ain't nothing new. That's always been there. I know it. We all know it. If you want to believe it or not, a lot of people just don't want to believe it. Or if not even fact believe it, because believe means to not know, not being sure. But you see it. You could see it. But a lot of people is just, you know, they think for some reason they think our government has their best interests, but no. They need to understand this is a republic. This is a business. This is not the land of America is an office building. If you can get that metaphor, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I call it a factory. I call it a factory. It's like the factory of the world for some reason. I see it as a factory. But I get what you're saying. I could definitely dig that. Yeah, so outside of oh, and rest in peace to Prodigy. His birthday's coming up, you know, November 2nd next month. You know, shout out to him and his family, especially Santana Fox. I love what his daughter is doing. She's
Mm-hmm.
very artistic. I really like following her social media. I just want to send a shout out to everybody, Mobb Deep, the infamous, and everything like that.